Hello friends, welcome to CSE Core Concepts in the series of computer networks. Today I'm going to discuss an important part of a data link layer called as the Medium Access Control Sublayer. Now let us first understand some of the issues which we handle in the network. See, if there is any broadcast type of a network, broadcast network means when one host is computer is sending messages to multiple, and vice versa, like other computers are also interacting with each other. Now the major issue here is that all the hosts are using the same channel. Channel means the network path, okay, communication channel. Now it is very much likely that when multiple hosts send their frames or the packets, then it may get collided. The packets may get collided. Now in that case, what happens? See, it is something like this. What happens in a network? Say this is your channel and the data is traveling in some continuous bits of zeros and ones. It is continuously going, right? So it is very much likely when multiple stations send their frames that they will get collided. And if they get collided, then the frames will get damaged. Now let us take this, understand this with respect to a live example, real-time example. Let's say we have a conference call using Google Meet or any other platform, right? Now it is every computer is connected to the common platform, and it is very much likely that more than two people can speak at the same time. So it leads to a chaos type of a situation where you are not able to understand as a listener that what they are saying. So the same thing can happen in the network. Now, if it is a face-to-face meeting, we can prevent this type of a chaos by saying that one of you raise your hand while speaking and we will let any one of them speak at a time. So when only a single channel is available, it is very much harder to determine who should go next. That is again a problem if we say that one after the other, but whom after the other, right? So these type of broadcast channels, they are called as multi-access channels because they are accessed by multiple stations or hosts, or they are also called as the random access channels. And the protocol which will help us to determine that who should go and get the access to the multi-access channel, this is done by a sublayer of the data link layer called as the Medium Access Control Sublayer. It is a part of the data link control layer, but it is not totally an individual layer. It is a part of it, so it is called as a sublayer. So the major work of this layer is to help determining that which host or which station will get the access to the channel so as to reduce or prevent the collisions as much as possible. Now you can allocate the channel to the station on two types basis. One is the static allocation, which is a traditional way of allocating the channel, such as a telephone line or something like that. Okay, you have a channel having a huge capacity and you chop up the capacity, means you make some logical breaks in the capacity so that everybody is getting their individual portion. Right. Let's say if your major telephone line is passing through your building or your flat, okay, and all the 10 people are staying in the residence, they have opted for that connection. So the common channel has been logically divided into 10 parts and each of them is getting their share. It is something like that called as a frequency division multiplexing. So if you have a bandwidth of some size and if you have n users, then you can divide the bandwidth into n equal sized portion and each user will be given one portion. So it is something like each user is getting its own private frequency band, and so there is no interference, and so the problem is solved. But this is a good approach as long as the number of traffic is constant and small. If you have 10, 20, 50 people or host, then in that case this approach is very, very good. And secondly, the traffic is steady. Steady means the type of traffic you are experiencing is same in the morning and at every hour of the day. In that way it is possible. So a very widely used example of this type of allocation technique is the FM radio stations. So you have a FM frequency modulation band, and in that every station is allocated their own channel like 98.3, 92.3, 93.5, 91.1. They will work in that band only. If you go above or less one or more point, the signals will not be very clear. So it is a common band, but here you know that in the morning also, if in your city there are 10 FM stations, then there are 10 stations all throughout the day, all throughout the month. Okay, it is not a type of a thing like it is not very varying, right? That morning it will be more, or the traffic will be less, two stations only working in the morning, rest of them in the afternoon, nothing like that. All of them are working from morning to night, and they don't even interfere. Okay, so if 98.3 is allocated to somebody, no other station can interfere. So it is a very good approach, but here you know that there is less number of user. You will be either 10 or 15, maximum 20 stations, or the traffic is also steady. But if the number of sender is very large, okay, and it is varying, okay, so some like a internet network, okay, people when we are sleeping, so that time the traffic is very less. When in the working hours, the 9 to 5, the traffic is very high. So it is a varying traffic, and there are a large number of senders. So if you divide, let us say if the spectrum is cut up into n regions, okay, and currently only very few people are interested. So what will you do? Suppose if you have speculated that, okay, let me say that maximum 100 people will be using. So I have divided my bandwidth among 100 users, but I can see that only 2 or 15 people are using. Rest of the bandwidth is getting wasted. And on the other hand, if more than 100 people, suddenly there is a traffic surge and they want to connect, but they are denied the permission for the lack of bandwidth, right? They have been assigned a frequency, but they are hardly they are able to transmit or receive, because you have made provision for you are seeing a huge traffic surge. So if the numbers of users are held constant, suppose if you are keeping the number of users n, so dividing we will get some static subchannels, right? The basic problem here is that some people are not using that much, right? If you have a family of 4 members and you have subscribed to a data pack of, let's say, 2 GB per day, each one of you, some of you might be using more than 2 GB, some of them might be using exactly near to that, and somebody might be underutilizing. They are not interested in looking at videos or anything. So this is the problem. So they are not using, and that 2 GB is not used by anybody else also, right? So this is a static allocation technique, is you can say a poor fit, because data traffic is extremely bursty. You cannot predict if it is a festival day or it is a sale day. You can see a huge surge in the traffic. Peak traffic to mean ratio can be like say 1000 to 1. Understood? And consequently, otherwise, let's say rest of the days, the sum of the time, the channel will be idle. So you can say static allocation does not work very well for a network traffic. Now you can go for a dynamic type of an allocation. So they are not permanently assigned, but whenever you require, it is on demand, right? On real-time demand. So whenever you require, you have a central pool, okay? And from there, they are giving you some bandwidth to use only when you need it. So this approach increases the channel utilization. That means you are not giving to somebody, he is not utilizing, getting idle. It's not like that. And reduces call blocking, because channels are returned to the pool after it is reassigned. Then once it is been used by somebody, now he is not using, you can give that channel to somebody else to use. So there can be adjustments based on the traffic load. So assumptions, let's say for example here and the western countries, so mostly when we are working here, they are in early morning or midnight. So you can adjust the load, and when they are working, we are not working. So in that way you can go for a dynamic allocation. So assumptions, but we are performing certain assumptions for dynamic channel allocation, and because real world conditions are very complex, okay, so you have to go by certain assumptions for analyzing the performance. So what are the assumptions? Let us see. The first assumption is that the traffic is independent. That means each station is generating frames for transmission independently of others. I am not looking at how my neighbor is working on the internet or how my friend is working. I am working on my, if I have work, I will do, right? As much work, that much I will do. So station waits until the frame is successfully transmitted before it can send the other. So traffic is independent and each frame is independent of the other. Second is that single channel. Single channel means all communication between the two stations occurs only over that single channel which is shared between them. So all the stations are assumed to be equally capable. I am not saying some station may not send, please you don't send. No. All the stations who are connected to the channel, they are equally capable of transmitting and receiving on this channel. Third is the observable collisions. Means if two or more stations are transmitting at the same time, their frames are going to get collided. And all stations can detect this garbled signal. Okay, all stations will get a glimpse that, okay, some collision, some problem has been occurred. So right now I am not going to send my frame, otherwise it will also get damaged. Now these frames which have been collided, they have to be again retransmitted. Then comes your continuous slot or slotted time. Time can be treated as continuous, means either you can begin a transmission at any moment of time or you can divide the time into slots like 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, like that, and you can only transmit at the beginning of the slot, not between slot. So this type of assumptions we will be making when we will see the algorithms. And the last one is the carrier sense or no carrier sense. Some of the protocols will have the carrier sensing capability that they can sense the channel before sending. If they can sense that some transmission is going on, they will not send their packets because it will get collided. And some protocols will have no carrier sensing technique. So as the way moment they are ready, they will simply sending. But here a station can transmit without carrier sensing capability. Station can transmit anytime. With carrier sensing, they will sense the channel and wait. So based on these 5 type of assumptions, we will see some of the protocols for channel accessing. Okay, common channel sharing of channel accessing. One is the independent traffic, that all stations are going to send the frames at their path. All of them are using that single channel. If the collisions happen, then every station must be aware of the collision so that they can stop. They can stop for some time sending the collision. They can pause for a while, and whoever's frames have been collided, they should retransmit. Some protocols that we will use a continuous timing, like anytime you can send your frames, or sometimes we will go for a slotted time, that every time there is a slot, first hour, second hour, third hour, and at the beginning only you can send the channel. And there will be either some protocols will have a sensing capability or a no carrier sensing capability. So with these assumptions, in my next video we are going to start studying the protocols for the channel sharing. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to CSE Core Concept, and stay tuned for more such informative videos. Thank you.